turn now. The rest of you, please try turning the camera on. I will minimally use the PPT because the primary priority in soft skills sessions is to make you all comfortable with this kind of a virtual environment, right? That's the thing. So you all said interview, right? You all are here to understand what this interview is. So my first question to all of you is, what are we doing in an interview? What are we doing in an interview?
We try to prove ourselves against the questions or against the evaluation.
Okay.
Someone is trying to evaluate you and we try to prove ourselves that we are good fit.
Wonderful. So I'll repeat what Vishwas said. We are trying to prove ourselves. We are trying to prove our worth. Let's pass the mic. What are we doing in an interview room?
I think primarily we are trying to sell ourselves as a resource that matches to the requirement.
Wonderful. Yoga, you came like your answer was like a bang. You said sell yourselves. That's what I wanted to listen to. Anybody else? Let's pass the mic.
So basically,
meet the requirement to the interviewer. What they expect, we need to meet their requirement.
Right. You meet your skills with the requirement. Awesome.
Yes,
Abhishek was saying something.
Yeah, so probably convincing the experience that we bring to the table, right? So that we can add value to their need is what.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Anything else?
We'll try to showcase our skills.
Superb. Showcase your skills.
Grabbing the right opportunity.
Sorry, Niranjan, please repeat.
Grabbing the opportunity.
Okay, grabbing the opportunity. Okay. So let me ask you the second question. I'll paraphrase what we are doing in an interview a little later, but I'll ask you the second question now. What is the main objective of an interview? For you, your primary objective when you attend an interview?
To present our skills in a smart way.
Okay, I'll come to Sudhir. Soumya, what did you say?
To get into the project.
To get into the project, okay. Sudhir, you were saying something.
Yeah, try to show our skills in a smart way.
Superb. Shubhangi wants to say?
Trying to convince that we are the perfect fit for that position.
Try to convince, okay, wonderful. I'll reveal the right answer. One of you is going to be the winner. And I got my answer already. Let's pass the mic. What's your primary objective before attending the interview?
To get that position.
Okay.
To clear the interview.
To clear the interview. Okay, let's pass the mic.
To be prepared for the interview.
Awesome. Very, very practical answer. Round of applause. To be prepared for the interview. What else?
To meet the criteria that they are looking for.
Okay.
Yeah.
To meet the criteria that they're looking for. I said one of you is the, one of you already gave me the right answer. So guess what the right answer is from all the answers that came until now? Your primary objective.
Sell yourself.
Okay. I'll combine two answers, right? One from Sudhir and the other one from, who's that woman? It was Shubhangi or somebody else. Not Shubhangi. Okay. It is about being prepared. Your primary objective is being prepared to present your skill set relevantly to the interviewer. That's it. If you go with the mindset that you want to crack the interview, what will happen? I have to get into this project. Damn. If you go with that mindset, what's going to happen?
You will be confident and you will most probably get through it.
Wonderful. Why not? You might get through it. What else?
But there would be a stress
Sometimes
and pressure.
too much pressure.
Yeah. Thank you. You're creating a lot of stress in your brain. What else?
And if in the middle it goes wrong, your confidence level will be get down, and the rest of the interview will be, the rest of the interview will be like hell for you.
Yeah. You come out and you're like, "Arey yaar, mujhe ye answer pata hi tha, magar yaad nahi aaya. I could not recall this damn answer. I knew it." You know why this happens? Because you are stressing your brain with the only thought that you have to crack this damn interview whatsoever. So your objective is not to crack the interview, is not to get into the project. It's only to present your work in a way that matters to the interviewer, that is relevant to the interviewer. Agree, disagree at this point? Your thoughts? Make sense?
Makes sense. Yes, agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, very nice. I thought somebody will fight with me. What are you even saying, Madhuri? You don't know what we are going through. What do you think? I know, I can clearly feel and understand all of you, but yes, do not create extra stress. See, even if you are a great fit to the job, let us say the interviewer is upset because he had a fight with his wife. You think you'll be selected?
No.
No.
His brain is somewhere else. You never know. So things that are not in your control should not stress you. What is in your control, you need to probably take care of it perfectly, right? Thank you so much for agreeing with the first part of it. Coming to the second part, you begin with something called as introduce yourself. Yes or no? Almost every second interview begins with the same question.
Yes.
Yeah. So how long do you think your introduction should last for?
2 minutes.
1 minute.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Okay, let's pass the mic.
Yeah, I think fair, like max
2 minutes is fair.
Max.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's pass the mic.
2 to 3 minutes.
I think
2 to 3.
it's not about the minutes, but it's about the information that you are providing about yourself. Like in which, I mean, as per the JD, or in which section you are very strong at, as per the JD, what they were required.
Okay. Shadak is saying it's not about quantity, it's about quality. So I'm speaking absolute quality. Is it okay if I speak for like 4-5 minutes? Not okay?
No. It irritates the interviewer. Yeah, it should be.
Madhuri,
Yeah, it should be
my
short and brief.
experience-
Short and brief. It should
Yeah,
be.
short and brief
Yeah.
should cover everything.
Short, brief. Okay. Should cover everything.
Everything is that is your experience, career experience.
Okay.
Whatever we
points.
need to project, main points need to display. Project in the 2 minutes itself only.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, go ahead, please. Yoga
in-
Shankar. Yeah.
Yeah, in my experience, I think 2 to 3 minutes is a good rule of thumb, but it also depends upon the visual or let's say non-verbal feedback that you're getting from the interviewer. Let's say the interviewer is garnering, the list of topics to cover in the next section, and is interested in listening to you. Maybe you can go a little deep into your strengths. But if the interviewer is nonchalant, then 2 to 3 minutes should cover. It should be enough to cover what we bring to the table with respect to the JD of that interview.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Anybody who wants to add to the previous response?
I think it should be maximum 1 minute, because if interviewer already have CV and other things, he already knows about you. You just need to present your relevant information related to that particular position, and it should be 1 minute only.
That's it. Thank you. So the quantity part is not longer than 90 seconds. Or if you think, oh, there's so much to say, then you can go to 2 minutes. But trust me, I'll put a timer on and I'll let one of you or two of you to talk for 2 minutes. And you see how overwhelming it looks like. It's going to be cognitive overload for the interviewer. So just make sure that you keep your introduction as short as possible, not longer than 90. But in any case, you think there's a lot to mention, not longer than 120. 120 is the dead limit, I would say. 90 is the limit, 60 is best. And I think I will paraphrase what Yoga Shankar was saying. It's about how you give the gist of what makes sense to the interviewer. What matters to the interviewer, that's it. And the remaining is all clutter. You have to eliminate it. So how do I understand what matters to the interviewer? That's the question. How do you know that?
We can
Maybe basing on the JD they provide first.
JD they provide, and what do you compare that with, Anusha?
Sometimes interviewer already tell before, like you can give an introduction pointing to something. So we can give introduction in that way.
Super. There are some smart interviewers who don't want to listen to all the cock and bull stories, so they come to the point. But generally, if it's introduce yourself, you will still have to get to the specifics, say your name, your role, whatever that you want to say, and only stick to the relevant information. And that is what matters to the interviewer, what matters to the role. How do I show the interviewer that I'm an asset to this kind of a role? That's it. And it should not take longer than 90 seconds. There is a name for this kind of a presentation. What is that? This is a marketing term, but actually can be happily used even in interviews. Has anyone heard of the word elevator pitch?
Yeah.
What is elevator pitch?
Means whatever you're trying to say, you have to be very crisp and clear and try to have an impactful pitch, I would say.
Pitch. Why? What is this whole idea of pitch? What is the meaning of pitching?
So what I have as a point of view is you should present what the person wants to hear within their attention span. Right.
Awesome.
So there is an attention span associated with every person. It varies. And the better we are able to concisely present whatever we want to present according to what the other person wants to hear, within that attention span, it gets into their brain that yes, I see whatever I need in this person or in this product. From a marketing perspective, it's the product, but here we are the product in the interview.
Yes. So pitching is generally about persuading the opposite party. And why this word elevator pitching? Any guesses? Elevator pitch. Anybody who heard of this concept already, you can help us understand.
Yeah, so I'll try to refer the Shark Tank series that they actually come there and the judges, they actually try to elevate their business page, right, to get the funding. So they actually try to give a good overview, impactful, speech that can attract them with, of course, with good data points. So I think when you say elevate means you have to take the best out of it and try to present in a better way that interests them.
Okay. Anybody who can focus on that word elevator, any guesses?
So by elevating our pitch, so it can show our confidence.
Okay. Wow. Logical thinking. Anybody else? There was somebody saying something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that it's just suppose if we are getting into an elevator and we are having the company of somebody else with ourselves in the elevator, and the short amount of time we get to introduce each other, that's how that concept has been driven, and it is known as elevator pitch.
Okay. Okay. Now I'll reveal the actual, the origin of this word. You know, a lot of business people who are very busy, they are known to give appointments to people who are trying to sell their services or products to them. Like vendors who come and sell their product services, they give the time they travel from one floor to the other in an elevator. So this guy gets into the elevator along with the decision maker and he travels with him to the next floor. And all he has is only the travel time in which the businessman is in the elevator. Because once he gets down, he gets into the business room into a different meeting, right? So keep it as short as an elevator ride. That's the reason they call it an elevator pitch, right? So what do you think is the duration of an elevator ride?
Maybe.
Yeah, depends on how many floors, but yeah, ideally 30, 60, 90, not longer than 2 minutes, right? So that's the reason they say that. And you have to be very, very specific. Like Yoga Shankar was saying, talking about attention span. So attention span, relevance, and duration. All of this matters while you are introducing yourself. So now is the time to do a quick breakout activity. I'll send all of you into breakout rooms. I'm sure you will have a rough idea of the JD that you might receive, right? We're not going to be factually correct now. This is only a practice exercise. Do not stress yourself thinking about how factually right I am. You will be sent into the breakout rooms with 5 people. All 5 of you will go for only 90 seconds, right? Maximum 90 seconds, not 2 minutes, right? One of you can just keep the timer. There is an app on the web, Google, called as Stop Clock or Timer. You will get it, for free. You can switch that on. And once it's 90 seconds, you can just boom and stop that person, right? You have to introduce yourself, elevator pitch, and you're not, including any clutter. Your history, your educational qualification, your family, your hobbies, all of that aside, unless you are asked for it. What did you do before EPAM? Or what did you do in your college? How are you connected with your family? Unless you get these specific questions, you don't have to include them. Just talk to your room about the relevant aspects according to the JD that you have in your mind. I don't have any, JD that I can give in common to everyone. So whatever is applicable to you is applicable to you. So the time that you have, every member, is 90 seconds. After you come back, your team members will say how relevant they were. Number 1, relevant. Number 2, how confident they were. Number 3, how brief they were. What are the 3 criteria? Confident, relevant, brief. Or probably confident, brief, relevant, right? 3 things. So are we going to the breakout rooms? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, 16 rooms. Not bad. You'll have like 4 to 5 people in every room, not more than 4 to 5. Yeah, 5, 4, 5, 4, 4, 4, 5. Okay. And to do this exercise, you have about 12 minutes, not longer than 12. There'll be a clock ticking at the top. So just keep an eye on the timer, because once the timer is gone, without any reminder, you will be pulled out into the main room, right? So just as a buffer before you join the breakout room, you might lose some time. I have set as 14 minutes, but if you're done sooner than 14, you can always return to the main room, right? So yes, 90 per person, elevator pitching, the most relevant information, what information matters to the interviewer, and the judgment criteria for your team members: brief, relevant, confident. They're going to tell how brief, relevant, confident the room was. Opening the rooms, but before that, do you have any queries?
So JD, we can think means whatever JD we are currently looking for, depending on that, we have to pitch it.
Exactly. Honestly, I don't have an answer for this, but keep your most recent JD in your mind. Or if you think, okay, forget the JD, I'll put the most important part of my skill set to the interviewer. That way you can put it. The aim is to be relevant and to be brief, right? So yeah, thank you. Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay. If there are no questions, I'm opening the rooms in 3, 2, and go. Are at least 5 minutes more. Let's wait for the rest of the people to return to the main rooms. So shall I assume that all of you are done with this exercise?
Yes,
Yes,
I guess.
Madhuri.
Yeah,
Yes,
Madhuri. Wonderful. Let's wait for like few minutes, 4-5 minutes. Okay, only 20 people have returned, which means a lot of them are in breakout rooms. Let's wait for like 2 more minutes. At 3:40, let's resume the discussion.
The breakout rooms automatically will turned out or timed out, or we need to leave and we need to rejoin because the time was keep on running. So we left that call and again rejoined.
Is it?
Yeah.
Usually when the time is done, as in when the time of the room is over, it will automatically be shut down and you will all automatically return to the main room.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But you had a trouble joining the room, you're saying?
No, we joined the call, but it was still keep on running. So I left the call and again rejoined.
That continues because I think it will close down only when the time is over, I guess. If you tell me your room number, I'll close your room here.
Sorry,
Which room was that?
Room
You didn't
It was
observe? Okay.
room 5, I guess.
Room 5. Okay. If there's no room, no.
Room 10 also.
Okay. No, that's okay. Rooms running in the background will not do any harm to us. So yeah. Automatically, anyway, when the time is out, it will be out. Okay, it's 3:40. I think we should begin the discussion now. Let's get started. Let the remaining people come slowly. So time to tell us how brief, confident, relevant you think people were. Let's first talk about confidence. If you were the interviewer, do you think you would hire everybody in your room? Confidence level on a scale of 5, how much would you give?
5 for my room 8 number. I think everybody was confident.
5.
Yeah, I would also give 5.
Awesome. That's impressive. Anybody else? Confidence. If you were the interviewer. Yeah.
In my case, room number 13, I would give around 3 to 3.5. So yes, a few of them are good, but I'll not go with everybody. Might be one person.
Okay, the average is 3.5, you're saying. Fair enough.
Correct.
Fair enough. Very honest. Anybody else? Confidence. We're first talking about confidence.
4.
4. Okay. Wow. Not bad. Champions today. What else? Anybody else? Confidence. That's it. Okay. So let's come to this discussion of confidence. What do you think gives you confidence in an interview room? There's just one answer. What gives you confidence in an interview room?
When we are
Knowledge.
comfortable, knowledgeable.
Knowledge, comfort. Okay.
And
When you
our
know what you
thoughts
speak.
running in our mind.
Okay. When there are no thoughts running in your brain?
We don't go with the mind like I should crack this interview, or like that fear should not be there. Just be
Very
cool.
smart.
Tell whatever you know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm very
If I am
confident when I am.
prepared well, then
Yeah,
I am
I'm prepared.
confident.
Awesome. Who said that?
Gautami.
Gautami. Thank you so much. I couldn't
Me
see your
too.
name. That is
Me too.
all. Sorry.
Me too. I mean, preparation and being able to at least mentally cover the entire JD with our level of preparation gives us the confidence. Okay, no matter what questions come up, we'll be able to answer them, handle them. And of course, there has to be a semblance of self-confidence with which we should go in, saying we should believe in our own analytical abilities. It is not possible to know the answer to every question by memory.
True. True. Thank you. We'll talk about that also. How do you deal with those questions that you don't know? We're going to talk about that in the rest of the part today. So the first thing is confidence comes from preparation, nothing else. And what do you think stops you from preparing?
Overconfidence.
Overconfidence. What does that mean? Wow.
Too much of area, too much of topic areas, or
Yeah.
Distractions.
Distractions. Okay. What stops us from preparing for the interview? One top reason.
Irrelevant JD.
Okay, maybe. If the JD is irrelevant, you're like demotivated, no? Arey yaar, who the hell wants this project? Go to hell. Anu was quite right. Yeah, go ahead. Yogesh Shankar.
I think what happens is we fail to sometimes reach out to our colleagues and people who are already working on a certain project or something like that to understand what the expectation is, what the requirement is. So unless and until we are clear about what we have to prepare for, there is no way of either preparing or gauging the preparation.
Super. Beautifully said. Lack of proper understanding about the requirement also.
Last year 93 ki pages. Sorry.
Vinila, please repeat.
No,
Was she
sorry.
talking? You were talking to someone else?
I think it was meant for somebody else. This time.
Okay.
Not
No, it's okay. Happens. Relax, ignore. And yes, I was just paraphrasing what Yoga Shankar was trying to say. It's about your understanding of the requirement that motivates you or demotivates you to prepare. Superb. And I want to also paraphrase Banu, who said overconfidence, which means, I've been working on this or working in this job for 10 years now, 15 years now. Can't I crack this damn interview? Why should I prepare? That is what you meant, no, Banu?
Yeah, like if the JD directly match with like what we already work for, then it will be like already I know all the concepts, so it's nothing that needed direct to take.
Direct attack. Let's go. But that will actually not serve the purpose. You have to. Okay, I'll tell you why you have to prepare. Doing the work is easy, but in the interview, what are you doing? Are you doing the work?
No, like it will be like questionnaire, like rather than.
Yeah, you are talking about the work done. That's the difference. Doing the work and talking about the work done. So talking, if you're not articulate enough, preparation is mandatory, right? Yep. So preparation, that is done. Let's come to the second part of the criteria. The second one, I will ask all of you to rate your room members on brevity, brief. How brief you think they were? Did anybody like digress, get into unnecessary details or overdo the details? Telling the same thing over and again. What killed brevity, you think?
The
Brief.
participants in my room, they did exceptionally well. They are up to the point.
Awesome. Anybody else?
In our room, the participants were like time oriented. They wanted to finish as soon as possible. Yeah,
Superb.
it was all good. Yeah.
I want to talk about this also. 1 second, I'll come back to Yoga Shankar. Because the clock is ticking, you're like rushing. What is the damage when you're rushing?
Yeah, there was little speed over there. Yeah.
And you sound very
You
anxious.
failed to convey the point finally.
It sounds like very
You
anxious.
missed the points too.
Yes. And the interviewer does not see that as anxiety. He sees that as
Tension,
Hurry,
Lack of
nervous.
confidence.
thank
Lack
you.
of confidence.
Confidence.
Lack of
Confidence.
Might be clarity or rush.
lack of clarity, lack of skill set, lack of capability, all of this. Oh, this guy was like a little mumble jumble. I don't know why he was doing it. He was making up things. He was not prepared. He was not skilled, something like that. So your anxiety will look like something else for the interviewer. So brevity is important. Just because you are supposed to stick to 90 seconds doesn't mean you're like rushing. One is you sound anxious. And the second thing is you might skip the most important details that must be covered. That's the second thing. Somebody was saying it and that got lost in the entire noise. Okay. Anybody else comment about brevity? How brief was your room?
Yeah, exactly same thing I was just mentioning to my the roommates that some of them were more a little above 2 minutes, but they actually talked something that is not that relevant as we talked, right? Some of them were very much into one, but they actually missed the potential part they could have brought out. So yeah, it's like 3 out of 5, I would say in that.
Okay, 3 out of 5. Anybody else? Comments about
I think in our room I saw two ends of the spectrum. One was, a couple of people were very, very brief and to the point, concise. Yes. But on the other end, I think I saw the difference between a normal car showroom and a premium car showroom. You see, you know the difference in presentation, right? I saw that difference.
Wonderful.
You go to a Maruti, you go to a Nexa, you'll find the difference. The same way, what I found was a couple of people were good. They had good things to say, but with the clock ticking in front of them, I had the clock on screen share for everybody, right? Just to know what their thing is. But I think that triggered anxiety, which led to a roller coaster ride, which was not let's just say it was not well polished.
Got it.
Things were coming in, but not in a well polished way.
In a way that could impress the interviewer by making him understand that I am the potential fit for you. And that brings me to the third part, relevance. Your comment about relevance. Anybody who's like, okay, people were awesome, they were relevant. Nobody?
I don't know. I want somebody else from that room to comment about me.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, you can probably ping them separately and ask for this feedback.
Yeah.
If there's some critical element, I think one-on-one will actually help them and you also. Thank you for proactively seeking feedback. That's a champion's characteristic feature. Okay, so relevance. Any comment?
So relevance we should rate out of like for group or for individual?
No, general comments in terms of relevance. How relevant do you think people were when they were talking about their skill set?
I'll rate 3 out of 5.
3 of 5, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in my case, in our room, most of them were relevant and talking about most of the JD. So I'll rate around 4 to them about the relevance.
But then again, Madhuri, on the relevance part, right? How can we gauge here that we do not know what is the JD here on the right, what they are talking? So it's a bit of difficult to.
Good question. Yes, a good question. My bad. You're right. But yes, just generally how specific they have been and how clearly they have put out info. Only that much you can gauge because you don't have a JD. I'm with you.
Yeah.
So and coming to a conclusion, out of confidence, out of brevity, out of relevance, out of these 3 criteria, what do you think is the order in which the interviewer sees you? Confidence, relevance, brevity.
I think the brevity first. and then the
Okay.
relevance, and then confidence. Matlab,
Okay.
how brief you are telling and how confident you are telling. Something
Right.
like which you are speaking.
Okay.
Actually, I had a
I
doubt
think
in
relevance
between,
should
in
be the
meanwhile.
top.
Okay. I love the energy of the team today. Go ahead.
Madhuri, sorry, I had a question actually before going into that.
Shadak.
Huh. So in my room, right, when somebody like introducing themselves, they said that I'm in a part of upscaling myself
Hmm.
in EPAM. So is it relevant to talk, like, because just want to understand, because we are all in incubation period, I know that, but
We'll
is
talk
it
about
relevant to
this.
talk? Achha.
Thank you so much. How do you express or how do you present your learning curve or learning graph? That's a very important thing. Should we express or should we present that or should we conceal it, hide it? Very important point of discussion. I'll do this like just right after this. But coming to the actual answer, any priority you think? Some of you are saying relevance, some of you are saying confidence.
Confidence should be first.
I think confidence. Brevity and relevance.
Confidence, brevity, relevance. Okay. Still struggling?
Once you have confidence, everything would be
Confidence,
fine.
relevance, and brevity. Yeah.
I'll tell you, there's no answer for this question. Confidence is something that creates first impression, right? Confidence is something that creates first impression. And brevity is something that maintains the engagement. So one of you were talking about the attention span, right? Attention span is killed if you are redundant, if you are overly explaining. So first comes confidence, first impression, and next is brevity. You engage him like that. And what helps him make the decision? You know the answer. What is that?
That's where relevance comes into picture.
Yeah, relevance, right? You know, take the JD and let us say you are rejected for a job offer. You take the JD and you're like, this is exactly what I did, but why am I not selected? You know why? Why?
Either we fail to showcase that the same.
Absolutely.
We can't.
Your presentation was not relevant to that fellow. He was lost. You killed his interest and then you're rejected. But you look at the JD like, I can do this work. Yeah, I'm the best performer. What is this? Why did I not get this? Now you know the answer. Yeah, that's it. So confidence to hook him, brevity to maintain the engagement, relevance to get selected. Now over to you. What do you think lacks in you, you think? What part do you think you need to work upon? Area of improvement, confidence, brevity, or relevance? Tell yourself, not me. Don't tell this to anyone because you can't reveal your secrets. Tell yourself.
But Madhuri, one other thing that I have is I hear a lot of fillers when people speak, right? Ums and ers, like that. I think that would tell me if I'm wrong, but I think that conveys a break in the chain of thought. At least when we are introducing ourselves, we are expected to maintain one continuous chain of thought and present the introduction unbroken.
True.
Unless we are able to do that, I think we are passing on the message that our brains are not, focused on the task, and that it's very easy to digress.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're 100% right. Too many fillers actually, cut the equation, or let us say the connection between you and the interviewer, because he is not able to focus because there are too many ums and whatever. They're called as fillers. And unfortunately, non-native speakers, it is highly likely that non-native speakers have a lot of fillers in speech. It's something that's inevitable. We can't do away with it because we think in a different language, we process it, and output is, in your technical language, input, process, output. That's why I'm becoming a little technical. Output is English. And when the entire process happens, these fillers are inevitable. So how do we work upon that? I think we're not doing a language session today, or else I would have done, an elaborate exercise on how to get rid of fillers. But yes, one simple answer is to master brevity. Mastering brevity is the only way to eliminate fillers. How do we master brevity? We already spoke about it. That's preparation. If you clearly prepare what you are telling for what question, it is possible to reduce the fillers, not completely eliminate them, but over time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take like a good amount of time, 6 months to a year to 1 year, depending on how committed you are. And the second problem which non-native speakers have is elongated sentences. I work with EPAM systems and I am working with BCA ABC project and I work with Java and I come from Bangalore and I come from this and I did this and oh my God, will you please stop? Right? Too many conjunctions to combine two sentences, making the sentence long and dimag ka dahi of the interviewer. That's it. Right? Fillers and long sentences. Two things that kill your brevity. I think I've, become a language trainer now. Bad idea, bad idea. It's 3:57. We've been together for like an hour now. Let's, I think we can afford a break of 8 minutes. Let's agree to be back. We're going to discuss two frameworks which will help you present your answer to master brevity and to master relevance. That's going to be the agenda after the break. Let's agree to return by 4:05. Please take a bio break. Please don't sit there. Your spines are crying. Stand up, stretch, fill your water bottles and come right back. Please don't jump into email and answer emails or stuff like that. Okay, it's 4:05. If you are back, please let us know. Raise hand or you may turn your cameras on. So I remember parking two questions. One is, what if somebody asks a question that I don't know, was the first question. If I'm right, it was from Yoga Shankar. And the second one is, do we talk about I'm upskilling or this is what I'm learning, all of that. That's the second question. So before more people return, let me ask all of you for questions about introduction. Any other questions remain? No questions?
Madhura, I just had one
Abhishek,
last thought regarding this relevance, brevity, and the confidence. Sometimes it so happens, right? It depends on the interviewer. Like we have to be a little quick to judge how their psychology. Sometimes how relevant you are, how confident you are, or how brief you are. If you are not talking to relevant topics, they tend to actually only listen to the topic point. Sometimes we try to be brief while explaining the context. Sometimes we have to give them context, and then they don't have patience to listen, and then they end the interview earlier than we think. That's what happened in a couple of interviews. So if you are really talking confidently or even briefly, but the relevance is also very important if they want to actually hear exactly what they are on point. So I think all these things are mixed up. We need to balance between all of them.
Certainly. That's why I was very smart. No, I told you there is no answer for this. I told you what gives what. Confidence gives first impression. Brevity will help you, have a hold on that person. And finally, the decision maker is what? Relevance only. Right? If you are beautifully brief, beautifully confident, still no relevance, you won't get selected. You are relevant and brief, but confidence is missing, again, chances are less likely. So there's no answer of which priority or what you can ignore. All three are equally important, rightly said. What else? Any other questions? And one more little answer. Abhishek was talking about judging the psychology of the interviewer. I think this is not in your circle of control. You are actually stressing yourself by thinking like that. Please do not ever think a lot about the personality of the interviewer or the mindset of the interviewer or the qualification of the interviewer. You're like, we go into the LinkedIn thing and we see, oh God, this guy is this guy is going to interview me. Judgment. You're like, this guy does not even know how to wear a good t-shirt for an interview. This guy is interviewing me. Oh, this guy is coming up with so many follow-up questions. How do I impress him? All of this is going to use you. Your only objective, I said in the beginning of today's session, is what?
Be prepared for the interview.
Yeah, is to present your skills in a way that is relevant to the JD. That's it. The remaining thoughts are only going to become cognitive overload and they'll stress you and you might actually forget important information. You might also end up not answering the questions that you do not know. So all of this is natural. I'm not saying this is not natural, but it's wise to be prepared to, ignore all of that. Don't get into all of that because it's just overburdening you. Any other questions? Questions? Okay. So the first question is, do we talk about the learning curve, the things that we are learning? I will say a big yes to that. A big yes to that. But don't say this much is what I know. Or I don't know this. Instead of saying that, you are learning what to do what. How much of it have you learned now? I'll take an example of Excel. I have been upskilling myself. I've started learning MS Excel. In 3 months, I've completed so and so. Now I can use conditional formatting. I can use cell styles. I can use formulas and data on Excel. You're just telling them what you have learned. And this Excel is a tool which is going to help you in the job that is, offered to you. So then talk about the exact actions that you can do using this tool. That's it. And yes, telling what you are learning, what courses you are doing is a good idea, not a bad idea, but that is the last priority. If you think this tool is one of the most important tools for the next job role, then it becomes important for you to talk about it. If you think your courses that you're learning are trivial, to just show to the interviewer that you are in an upskilling process, to just flaunt how agile you are when it comes to learning, no, it's a bad idea. Did I answer that? It makes sense? Yeah. So that's the learning part. And the second part, how do we answer questions that we do not know? I'm going to talk about it a little later. For now, let's get into the frameworks part that I was talking. But before the frameworks, I would like to talk to you about persuasive skills. How do I persuade the interviewer? I'll talk about these what is this? Advertisements. All of us watch advertisements? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We do. In all the toothpaste ads, what would you see 10 years ago? Toothpaste ads. 10 years ago.
Only the product.
Okay.
Smile
Product.
and
Nobody using it.
Smile. Okay.
There is no
Smile.
salt. There is no salt. Now there
That
is
is
salt.
happening now. That is happening now. That's why I said
Yeah.
10 years ago. 5, 6 years ago, what? A toothpaste ad.
Recommended by all dentists.
Oh, so Shraddha, smart Shraddha. You would see a dentist, right? And currently, now, in all the jewelry ads, what are you seeing? Jewelry ads. Kalyan Jewelers, GRT
Celebrity.
Jewelers. Sorry?
24 carats.
This is
Okay.
certified.
24 carats,
Certified.
ISO certified, okay?
styles,
Teams.
A big star
styles,
is promoting.
discounts,
Hallmark.
best
No,
pricing.
no service charge.
Okay, no service charge. Big Star is promoting, and one big superstar and one more big superstar, they're father and daughter. And they do a role play.
Relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Okay, wonderful. And what is this? iPhone ad or phone ads, what do you see generally?
Promoting the
Camera,
latest.
Camera. Yeah.
Text.
Yeah, what is that?
Hardware.
The pixels. What is that called as? Specifications,
Yeah, specification.
right? So you spoke about all these features. Now let's categorize these into 3 buckets. First thing is this father and daughter, father performing daughter's marriage. How is it connecting with you?
Family.
Emotionally.
Family.
Total.
Emotional connect.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Emotional connect is one element to persuade people. Understood? Clarified? Very, very important because human beings are naturally made of emotions. The easiest way to persuade people is
Emotionally.
emotional connect. Emotional connect. Easiest way. Super. And then I said, how do you see jeweler ads? One of you saying ISO certified, no making charges. What is all this?
Something like attraction.
It's kind of building a
Attraction
trust
and
on a product or
confidence.
something.
Yeah,
It's a combination of 2 things. One is a pain point that is being addressed. So making charges make a dent, right? You can't evaluate the cost of a jewel based on your knowledge of the current gold price, because it's an arbitrary making charge that is levied, and then you see a final bill that is outside of your budget.
Okay.
That is one thing. So that's a pain point that's being addressed. So ISO certified is basically giving you confidence regarding the purity of the gold that is being used.
Super.
So
Thank
combination
you
of the
so
2
much.
things.
Yeah, you rightly said ISO certified is a trust part because you trust ISO, you trust that this is genuine gold. And the second one, the numbers that you were talking about is logic. Let us say one jeweler shop, they say 5% making charge. And the other jeweler shop, they say 3% making charge. Which one will you go to?
3%. The lower
So that
one.
is logical analysis. So we spoke about 3 things: emotion, trust, and logic. Why a dentist in all the toothpaste ads? What element? Trust, right?
Trust, confidence.
Yeah.
It's building a confidence.
And
Yeah.
why these product specifications in iPhone ads?
They showcase the best.
Logic. They're logically
Logic,
telling
yeah.
you that this is a better product than the previous one. This is a better product than all the other products in the market.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And why Sachin Tendulkar in Boost?
That is an emotional connect, basically. That is
it's both,
like
it's
appealing to.
Yeah. It's
That is
both
similar to ISO
emotion
certified.
Emotion and
Certified.
Emotion.
Yeah, it's like Sachin is believing in that product, so it is ISO
Yeah.
certified kind of
No,
thing.
it's not about belief. It's basically that if Sachin endorses something and I am a fan of
Yeah.
Sachin, then I would
Definitely.
naturally tend to choose something endorsed by Sachin rather than something else.
Absolutely. So it's both
Yeah.
emotion and trust. Oh, Sachin बोल रहा है boost पीने के लिए चलो boost खरीद लेते हैं, right? अरे यार, Sachin is my icon. If Sachin says, I'll go die also, right? So people persuade you. You were talking about, one of you gentlemen said in the beginning of today's session, what do we do in an interview? We are selling ourselves. So in order to impact the interviewer, you need to cover these three: trust, emotion, logic, right? And emotional part, Madhuri, how do we connect emotionally with the interviewer? What is this nonsense? So your attitude is the emotional part. How you present yourself, you smile, you greet, you be there on time, the way you dress, the way you stand up, all of this maybe, which accounts to attitude, is the emotional part, right? The second thing is trust. How do they trust you? How do they trust you? We already spoke about it in the first half. How do they trust you?
By
Based
talking
on their
relevant things.
Confidence.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And accepting if there is any lag, accepting over there and giving you strengthened areas. So
Yeah.
being honest, and that part they will gauge you when you talk, right? So definitely it reflects in your gestures and the way you talk. That is what is when he sits quiet, he observes, right? It's not like he's just sitting quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, he checks the things. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So combining all of your answers, how well you talk about the actions that you have done in the past that are relevant to the interviewer. What action can you do in his project to probably make his life a better life, or to make the project a better one, to add to the productivity? And same thing, logic. Logic is also a combination of what you have done, how you have done, and how you are better than the rest, or how probably you are the best. So in trust part, you're not talking about certification. I am Microsoft certified programmer is only 1% of the trust. What is the 99%? Microsoft certified certificate free में मिल रहा है मार्केट में. इंटरनेट में भी जाके मैं डाउनलोड करके नाम ये एडिट करके दे सकती हूँ. Certificate is not a big deal these days in the world of AI. So what is the 19?
What have you done with that skill?
That's it. Talking about what actions you have done using that skill is trust part, right? That's about it. I think we are done with presentation. We are done with, persuasion. The second part, I said there are a couple of frameworks. Give me 3 seconds. I'm trying to open my files to master brevity and to master logic. How logically you put your answer. This is very, very simple. Anybody, have you had an opportunity to attend interviews with Amazon?
Yes, I had.
You had.
Attended a Western interview last year, I think.
You
1 year
missed the
before.
interview?
In the final round.
Okay, that's okay. But I'm just talking about the email that you receive. They send out an email, no detailed email to the candidates.
They'll send about what they are going to ask in the interview, like what they are actually expecting from the interviewer. I think when interview section, they'll clearly mention in the email, these are the points we are going to have, this is what the timing. I mean, introduction part itna work leta hai. And second thing, the interview goes like this, and third thing, so like that they will be mentioning all the information in the email itself, so that you can be prepared in prior.
Okay. They mention also a specific framework. They say, we do not want to listen to all your cock and bull stories. They don't say it this way. I'm just dramatizing it. They say, we would like you to speak using this framework only. All your story will not be entertained. Any guess what that framework is?
Time frame. They will give introduction, time frame, and the dress.
One of the framework, I think, STAR. Or
Amazon is not bothered about dress. They say you can come whatever, wearing whatever. You know, the interviewer that interviewed me some 5 years ago was wearing some sleeveless t-shirt. I'm like, what kind of a guy is this? I was like, it was a culture shock for me. Mentioned it in the mail also. We are not bothered about professional dressing. We're bothered more about professional behavior. I was very impressed with how they've written that. And they said, follow, Soumya, you want to say something? Who else? Rahul. Soumya and Rahul? Okay, I think
Yes, Madhu.
Abhishek wants to say something?
Yeah, the approach I was saying, STAR, the situation, task, approach, and then result. How you
Thank
actually
you. You got it. Take a look. Situation, task, action, and result. This is the framework which is to be followed if you want to be both brief, relevant, and also logical, right? I was talking about the logic part in persuasion. If you want to logically support the elements you use to establish trust, this is the framework, right? You've already been specifically talking about the elements to create a certain trust. And how do you support that? Using this framework. Situation, task, action, result. So which part of this entire STAR you think is the most important for the interviewer? Situation, task, action, result.
Result.
Okay, let's pass the mic.
Action.
Actions are important.
Okay.
Because
Action and the result.
results may vary, but what are the actions applied? That is important.
Awesome. I think we have come to the answer in less than a minute. Thank you so much. It is not the result that is the most important. It is the action that's the most important. Take a look and look at how it's beautifully divided. And one of you, I think, were talking about, if I'm right, Abhishek was talking about setting the context, talking about the background. Interviewer might be irritated, etc., etc. So you can combine both situation and task in some situations. But in some situations, you have to set a clear context. If the interviewer is asking hypothetical questions, it's a wise idea to set the context. Because in hypothetical questions, the problem is the context is not clear in his head. And your answer may not exactly match his expectation. So for you to clarify, the first thing to do is setting a context. So then he will compare the answer with the context you have set, not with the situation that he has in his brain. Make sense? If it's a hypothetical question, you have to rephrase the question to him by probably creating a situation around it. If it's a normal, regular question about the actions that you have done, about the work you have done, it's okay to combine both situation and task, right?
Sure.
And then followed by actions, followed by results. Even if it's a failure, you can still happily mention that it was a failure. Followed by, you can say how you should have done differently. At that point, this didn't work, but had I done it this way, I'm sure it would have become a success, right? Like a typical Bollywood drama. Yes, I know how to do that task. At that point, I didn't do, right? At that point, I didn't do, but now I know it because I went through this course. I learned this course, or I, learned this from somebody else in the team. I learned from my manager. All of this shows how inclined you are, how agile you are when it comes to learning. So STAR framework I wanted to introduce to all of you. I'll take a pause at this point to ask if you have any questions. No questions at all? Okay, and here also the same rule applies. You cannot use STAR framework and go on and on and on and on. Make sure to pause like once in a while and make sure the interviewer is following you, and talk a lot about the action part, be very specific, do not digress, and then close it with the result part. And also allow the interviewer to ask you if you have questions, if he has any questions, right? That's a STAR framework for you. What are the benefits of STAR framework? 60 to 120 seconds is the maximum. 120 seconds le lo. 60, kanjusi hai. Okay, 120. What is the benefit of STAR framework?
As in, like, it helps us in being very detailed and what all the things we have done and what was the plan, what is the action item, and what is the result. So it is like it helpful for us to explain completely, and we can just based on the results we can justify ourselves whether our action items for the given task is like correct or not. So
wonderful.
That, yeah.
It is.
And
yeah.
Madhuri, I've also had this feedback a couple of times earlier that instead of highlighting my successes, or rather instead of talking about the action and the results, sometimes I used to digress onto what failed or something like that. I think using this method, we can cull it down, and we can talk about what really works and the positive things. I mean, failures do happen,
Of
and
course, of course.
I mean, we have a team to help us out in failure situations to come out of it. But the more we talk about failures, the more we are presenting ourselves as doomed to fail. But the more we talk about actionable results and how we went about it, the more we are showing ourselves as somebody who knows their way around the task.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Beautifully said. I have gotten an important input from your answer. I'll talk about that now. But yes, I'll paraphrase what Suhail was saying. He was saying this framework gives a structure to all the components of your answer. It is not leaving out any important component. It is covering the entire, chain, and it is giving a clear picture to the listener. It's structured. You can cover it in less time and also be logical. A logical arrangement of different components in your answer, right? And now is the time I will talk about the question one of you was asking. How do I talk when I do not know the answer to a question that the interviewer is asking? There are two things here. First thing is to tell them what you heard from somebody else, right? Okay. If this is a question, I do not know, but I heard that somebody else did it in this way. I'm quite not sure whether it works or not. So it shows how involved you are with other colleagues and how you do discussions related to work, which add value to your life. You establish yourself as a team player, you establish yourself as learning agile, and you establish yourself as a good listener also, right? All of this happens when you recall somebody else's experience and present it, right? And second thing, you can ask follow-up questions to the interviewer only. Can you help me with something so I can give you an answer? Can you elaborate the context? Can you add a little more detail and things like that? If both of these are not working, then you can probably politely say, I'm not able to recall an answer for this question. I'm sorry. You can stop it there. But two important things. One is telling somebody else's experience. One is asking follow-up questions to probably elicit more details that might help you frame an answer. If these two are not working, then just flip. Go ahead with the interview. This is a thing. And one more important part of answering questions is storytelling. Anybody who did storytelling in your interviews? Storytelling framework.
Yeah, that is the most irritative part of the interview, actually. Nobody wants to listen it, and they don't want unnecessary information. And people will just beat around the bush over there. They don't target the actual thing, and they keep saying other things around.
I'll talk about the right storytelling now. How do we do the right storytelling? In right storytelling, what is the central component? The central component of a story.
It's main like what you're trying to explain. Say, take an example. If he's expecting some algorithm, then you might create a scenario to explain him better. So that is right storytelling.
Okay.
Moral of the story.
Oh, moral of the story is the central component. Okay, I'll ask you a question. Who is the central component in Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge? Central component in Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge.
Amrish.
Thank you.
Character.
I thought no, it is Amrish Puri. Okay, boy loves girl, girl loves boy. Do you think Dilwale Dulhania Le Jayenge would have been that big a hit?
No.
Why is that a big hit? Because of Amrish Puri. So spot your Amrish Puri. That is right storytelling. Who is your Amrish Puri?
Or intelligence.
Oh, your intelligence.
No, I think in this context, right? For any story, what we are trying to say is, okay, I faced this task or problem, and I solved it in this way. So the problem becomes the Amrish Puri of that story, actually.
Absolutely, as simple as that. What was that hell of a problem that stopped Shah Rukh Khan from uniting with Kajol? Amrish Puri. So what is your problem that stopped you from reaching the goal? is your Amrish Puri. Make sense? उधर जाके Amrish Puri मत बोलना, हाँ? मेरा band बच जाएगा. Madhuri, what are you training our candidates on? They'll come and kill me. That is your storytelling. Do not talk about crap. Talk about your Amrish Puri. This was the conflict. This was the problem. This is where I was, and this is my goal. And this was the hurdle. This was what was inhibiting me from reaching the goal and how I sorted it. What are you talking about when you're talking about this in the STAR framework?
Situation.
No.
Task.
No.
Action.
Action item.
Action. What action have you done to pacify Amrish Puri? What action have you done to calm him down? What action have you done to solve the problem? That is your story, right? So storytelling is an amazing way of trust, emotion, logic. Storytelling is an amazing way of trust, emotion, logic. Which one?
Logic.
Emotion. Thank you.
Emotion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we spoke about attitude. Second thing in an interview is storytelling. So if you tell these stories in the right way, first thing is to establish your Amrish Puri and then talk about actions you did to pacify him. That's it. That is an emotional connect that you're creating with the interviewer. Right? So that is STAR framework for you. Now is the time to do a quick activity. I thought of sending you out into breakout rooms, but I don't think some rooms were silent. I don't know why. The first activity was very challenging or you didn't find it interesting. I don't know. So I don't want that to happen. For the overall benefit of the entire team, I'll do it in the open. Very simple. You have just 1 minute, 60 seconds. Tell us anything that you have achieved in your life using STAR framework. What situation, what task, what action, what result. Anything. Personal, professional, social. Take a minute. Put your thoughts on a paper if possible, if applicable, and then tell us using STAR.
Okay.
Who wants to go?
Yeah. So in
Suhail,
one of
go ahead.
my, in one of my earlier company, it was travel domain. So it was something like we ran a hackathon, and from customer service we got some issues, as in like what customers are facing and why are we like back in the market or something. So they just told about price benchmarking. So we have a lot of competitors in the market, and they are at the best pricing and all. So with that thing, our manager, he was like IITian, and he was like out of box. What we tried to do is for this price benchmarking. So he just set this as one of the best hackathon, and he wanted to make an impact for the company. So what he did was like, just hold on. Sorry.
Go ahead. It's okay.
Okay, so at that time, what we did was like how can we do a price benchmarking, because we cannot go with the competitors and check their contracts and all, right? That is like not the part of business. So what we did was, it was little illegal, but we tried to scrape the data of other websites and we tried to match our data with our pricing and where are we lagging in that and how are they going to give. Say, take an example, in Shimla, there are some good properties available. Then how are they trying to give that best prices in that season while pricing is at its peak? Then how did they manage that? So that's things we try to get it to our business, and we gave them a proper information. And then we concluded saying like inventory has not been purchased during the time, it was like happened before that. So we tried reaching out the contracts where there were a lot of inventories available at the peak time of the peak season. So these three parameters were very important. So this was one of the achievements which we have done, and technically we have we had technical ability since we are from the tech team. There was the problem statement, we just got it from the customer service, and we applied our technology and gave them the proper results. So this was one of the things. Yeah.
Cool. Let's look for feedback. Do you think Suhail was following the STAR framework? And what do you think was good? And what do you think needs to be improved?
Yeah.
Anybody feedback?
Yeah, please be open. It's okay. Even if it is something like I would have done better or something, even that is fine.
The only bit that I wanted to add here is that you don't have to say probably what we did was illegal. I mean, that is a red flag anywhere. I mean, it shows you may not be, compromised on your integrity, but it shows a compromised integrity. I'm very sorry to say this.
Yeah, that is valid point. Actually, I agree. I just wanted to put something instead of asking you a question. Is it like valid? Can we do that? Just to avoid that, I have just set a disclaimer saying
you proactively told them that though it is illegal, whatever, but that's a red flag. True.
Yeah,
Yogesh Shankar was absolutely right. You could have avoided that. Anybody else?
I mean, as far as I see, scraping values of the publicly available data is not wrong at all. So instead of pointing to, let's say, your flexibility around a couple of lines, ethical lines, basically, just avoid saying that. I mean, when it comes down to a very deep discussion, it is going to be a pothole around which you cannot navigate your way.
Right.
Yeah. Madhuri, I can tell you an example of in my career happened. I was working in
but just a second. Sudhir, I'll take 1 second. The feedback for Suhail was, I think you have given a lot of importance for setting up the situation and task. You could have trimmed down on that. Come straight to the point, situation and task, let it be like for 15, 20, 30 seconds max, not longer than that. Focus more on actions, and actions, I would say, could have been more specific. The exact action that you have done in order to achieve the result. You only described your result as wonderful. Whatever, you used an adjective. You said we did great, or we, did something you used, I'm not able to recall, but you have used a superlative to say that you have done exceptionally well. Right? But I think your actions should be talking about how exceptionally well you did. And eventually your result is obviously established.
Yeah.
So the feedback here is
more techy. So I did just put it very short over there. There were a lot of things that technically involved in that. So I just kept it a little concise. Yeah.
But generally, in generals, I'll again present this one. Give me a second. If you see, take a look. The percentage. You see this? And this is how we talk. Task has to be just a line, and situation not more than 3 lines. Everything is action and very less result, right? That's the only feedback. Otherwise, the rest was fine. Okay, let's pass the mic to the next person. 60 seconds. Talk about one thing you did using STAR. Over to Sudhir.
Yes, Madhuri, thank you. I was working in Kolkata. It's a product-based company, and we need to demonstrate our product to the client. That is a hectic job for us because so much machinery we need to take and assemble in front of us, and doing that demo, it will lot of time, and the client will not spend that much of time. Instead of doing this one, I suggested to my CEO, we will give one graphical design, different type of video, and show the entire our product to display in 1 minute or 2 minutes. Then they will understand the product and they will come up with what they needed. It is there or not. Like that, I given a suggestion, but I don't have any graphical knowledge and everything. And the CEO allotted me one graphical engineer in a film studio, and I went there from Delhi to the film studio and designed that video and demonstrated to the clients. And so many products came into the company, and the company will also gain so much profitable in the day. For example, I will tell you the small that thing. I will give the link here. It is there still in the YouTube. You can go and see that if anybody is interested. There's a V-Crimes Vihar Interactive. The complete design is designed by me and implemented by the film studio in Kolkata.
Oh, very nice, very nice. See, he's established his credibility, trust part. YouTube mein jaake dekh lo. Very nice, very nice. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And one part here in this STAR framework, you should clearly establish your Amrish Puri, right?
Yeah.
Because in situation, it has to come down. And Sudhir was talking about that, but not in a very elaborate manner or a specific manner. Your Amrish Puri is, people might lack the visual element. So I suggested in the traditional marketing format, I might use different words. Please pardon me. In the traditional format, when there is a lot of text, people might not have a visual reference. So I suggested a video. That's your Amrish Puri. What is your Amrish Puri? People not having a visual element. And you suggested a video format. That's it. Your context is set.
Yeah.
You were saying something.
Actually, I don't know Amrish Puri. I didn't see the movie.
So sorry. What language you talk at home?
No. I see everything, but I didn't see the movie.
So sorry for all the non-Hindi speakers. If you are from Telugu land, I'll say Bommarillu. In Bommarillu, who's the central component?
Raj.
Obviously. Establish your Prakash Raj. Anybody?
No.
May I have a go?
Yeah.
So, in my previous company, we had a serious trust deficit with regards to one product line, Centro C series mobile shipping device. So there was a plan to scrap the entire line, and some enterprising product manager took it up as their first project to revive the line and provide international shipping and all that. And we faced a mountain of backlash with regards to stability, reliability, everything. And everybody was really scraping their heads off as to how to do it. So the lead project manager, approached me because I was one of the senior QAs there, said, we have to establish trust. Give me a way out. Off the top of my head, I said, why not we just implement test automation here right from the start, make this 100% automated test sequence, and release it in a continuous delivery model. And everybody has all the artifacts to trust on. You don't have to trust us. You trust the data.
Yeah.
Right? So that is when I realized I had only heard about Appium. I had not even implemented anything. And I had not even tried doing it on actual hardware. So the main Amrish Puri that I faced was my own lack of knowledge, and I had about 3 months to do the entire thing, or the entire line goes off the the product aisle. So it was a lot of sleepless nights for me, but ultimately with the first MVP, we did a continuous delivery of the MVP and subsequent sprints. For 6 months, we were under critical observation, but we did not get a single complaint either from product management or from the customers who are using them. So that product is still working with Pitney Bowes.
Okay, wonderful. Good. One part I'd like to emphasize after Yogashankar's description is how do we establish logic while we are talking? And I think I have this reference even from Sudhir's answer. We use like it was very difficult for us. It was very challenging for us. It was a nightmare, right? It is nice to talk about things using these adjectives, but how do you establish logic? I'll tell you. We needed 5 software engineers for the sprint, but we only had 3. Challenging situation? You're not saying it was a challenge. You are clearly talking in terms of numbers. We needed 5 people. We had only 3. We needed 7 days, but we only had 2 days, right? This is how you establish logic using numbers. And numbers speak louder than whatever you want to use, the words I'm saying, right? So always be specific, use numbers as much as possible, because numbers will help you to quantify your work, be it success or failure. Use numbers. We needed this much, we had only this much. And the gap is your challenge. And how did you master this gap? Is your action, right? So that is establishing logic. So try and use numbers. So to do all of this, all you have to do is preparation. Sit down and write down, make a list of your trust elements, make a list of your logic elements, and then make a list of your Amrish Puris. You're done with the preparation, right? And interview mein jaake, please Amrish Puri mat bolna. Don't say that. Interview will be confused. Ye Amrish Puri kaun hota hai? Why is he here? So that's about it.
The interviewer may think like it's a new skill.
It's a new skill.
They won't know. Yeah.
I use this filmy reference. Indians are full of drama. We love watching movies. When I say that, it will remain with you for a long time. If I simply say storytelling, you'll forget by evening. But I think in every interview, before preparing for every interview, you will remember. Arey yaar, mera Amrish Puri kaun hai abhi? Kya bolu? Right? You will start reflecting that way. So it's a wise idea. All I do also is storytelling only.
Basically, you are using one of the frameworks, emotional.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Abhishek. So that's about it. And the next thing and the last thing I'd like to introduce to you is, again, establishing logic and brevity using one more simple framework. If any of you has attended my assertive communication training, you would already know this. This is the second one. Point, reason, explanation or example and point. Generally, Indian speakers or Indian stakeholders are very talkative. We tend to beat around the bush. And why do we do that? Why do we beat around the bush? Are we trying to manipulate or fool the people around? Fool the listeners? Why do we elaborate? Any answers?
To reach out to all sets of audience, as in like there are different sets basically.
Super. You want to convince everybody out there by establishing or by presenting all the random details. You want to make sure that they're convinced. And why do we have this mindset?
Because we want others to understand us and give maybe today it's voting, reviews, and a lot of things in the market, right? Yeah.
We like seeking approval. Why do we like seeking approval?
To make sure we have given the right thing and users have accepted us.
Absolutely.
And we have delivered in
one other thing is their approval is also a measure of our success in that particular interview, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
Whether a person approves or not, acceptance has to be the objective measure of success.
Yeah.
But somehow in the Indian context, the interviewer's approval is also a measure of our success.
Yeah. And we've been trained like this to seek for approval. School mein, take teacher's approval. Ghar mein, papa's approval. Right? When we become adults, some boss's approval. Somehow this mindset is become standard in Indian minds. Nothing offensive here. We believe in the idea of respect. Respect the opposite person. And how do we respect? By seeking approval. Ab kya khana chahte ho is fine. But seeking approval in business and that becoming a weakness might actually cost you dearly. It's not a great idea to always be seeking approval. And in order to seek approval, you want to convince them and you go tell all the details under the sun, thereby confusing them. All that you need to tell them is a logical answer in business, be it with Indian stakeholders, be it with American stakeholders, European stakeholders, anybody. All they want is the reason why your answer is A. I would like to go for answer A because dash. But generally, most Indian stakeholders come in the reverse approach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 data points. And you will say data point 9, and then you will tell your reason. Recently, we were celebrating Cross Culture Week, right? I was doing a talk there and we had people joining from all parts of the country and they had a question. Why do Indians talk a lot, right? Indians sometimes talk irrelevantly. Indians sometimes do this, do that. They had all questions because it was India culture understanding session. And then one person specifically put this on chat. I can fetch this message for you to prove the credibility. Hold on for 10 seconds. What is that group? Placeholder. Okay, my memory is good. Mil gaya. Give me 10 seconds. I'll come back to you. Where are you? We were doing like a take it. I'm not revealing the person's name to you. I got it. I clicked a screenshot. Take a look on chat and you will not be surprised at all. This is exactly what I was talking about. And you see one smiley reaction there. Who do you think gave that smiley reaction? Right? Yeah. It was me who gave the smiley reaction, and this is what people think. Unnecessary build-up. And this one is called as holistic approach of presenting your answers. Giving too much build-up, giving too many details before coming to the main answer. To kill this pattern, what is the answer is something that you're seeing on screen now. Where do you think you would like to go for lunch? You know what? I think I like bringing my own box. I don't prefer eating from restaurants because it's unhealthy eating outside. But in any case, if we are supposed to go to a restaurant and if we don't have a choice, then I'll only go for veg options. Let me elaborate. Let me think what veg options are available in our vicinity. I think this is the only veg option. Let's go there. Why are you? Let us go to, I'll take one random, chutneys. Let's go to chutneys. I prefer vegetarian. So chutneys is the nearest spot. Let's go to chutneys. Khatam. Point, reason, point. Close. And if you want to really talk about that explanation part, there are a lot of varieties available at chutneys. Point, I would like to go to chutneys because it is a vegetarian restaurant. There are a lot of variety. The menu is large, elaborate. Let's go to chutneys. 4 lines, khatam. Right? We don't want all the history of your vegetarianism. We don't want all your preferences, all your stories, all your love for health. All of that is irrelevant to the interviewer. You're boring him. Right? And this is what interviewers are feeling, and you have the screenshot here. Right? So that is the point. Always say the point first, not the explanation first. At least if you are talking to the stakeholders from other countries. If your clients are from other countries, this is the framework they prefer. Point, reason, point. If required, explanation. Close it in less than 2 minutes and show them that you are breaking the stereotype of being overly elaborate. That is brevity. That is logic. What is your point? Why is your reason? How, etc., is your explanation. And then what again is your point. So that brings us to the end of interview preparation. I'll give a quick recap of all that we discussed. It was cognitive overload, I know. We had to do this in 2 sessions, 1.5, but because of soft skills calendar was full, we could not accommodate it that way. Well, anyway, so I'll leave it to you for questions, if any, thoughts, if any, doubts, if any, or disagreements, if any.
Yeah, Madhuri, I have a doubt in interview panels. Okay.
Yeah.
More than one people is there in the interview panel. For example, I have faced a 5 interview panel in a interview for one company. Okay. They have asked the 1 by 1 questions, right? Whether we need to fulfill all the panel member or we need to concentrate on that question itself only.
See, if all the people are asking different questions, that's a different story. If all of them are, at the end of the day coming to the same point, then give a comprehensive answer to all of them. Okay. But I don't think people will ask like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions they won't ask. Like, for example, I am asking one by one. I am asking, let us say, there's one more interviewer in the panel. That fellow might only add to my question. Yes, then you give a combined answer to both of them. Right? Okay. If I am asking a question, one more fellow is asking second question, they're just in a hurry, let us say. You address 1 by 1. You say, I'll first answer Madhuri's question, and then you keep a pen and paper ready, note the second question because you might forget, and then jump to, okay, now let me answer the second question. Yeah, that way. Okay. But I don't think it will happen. Very rare, but yeah, possible.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any others? Vishwas, go ahead. Yeah.
So mostly once the interview is done, interviewer asks you, now, do you have any questions? So in case when you're changing the job, you give a different answer. But now here, what type of answer you should give? You should mean what type of questions you should ask to them about the project.
Great question. So No, I'm good. I have no questions. Do you think it's a great idea?
No.
No,
Not
I
really.
don't think so. Because
Not
he's
really.
asking you something, means you are
Yeah.
there and you should ask something
Yeah.
from, you should get, means whatever whatever, how the interview goes or how the JD was there, you should come up with some questions from yourself.
Absolutely. So there are two types of questions you can ask. Question number one is more details about the work expected out of you in the initial days of joining, right? Or more specifics related to the work. Could you please elaborate upon how I would be placed in the first 2 months of joining the project? What are the expectations, exact expectations? Something in those lines. And the second thing is a little personal connect. So you have been in the project for how many days? And what do you think is the best part of being in the project? What is something that brings you back to work every day? This question, please take chance only if you think the interviewer is like social. If you think the interviewer thoda khadus lag raha hai, to reserve it. You never know how he's going to, view that. So two types. One is regarding your specifics, any specific that is relevant to you. I, can't answer for every one of you, but yeah, get to a little specific. And why do you do this? To showcase the interest you have in pursuing it. And you might also want to ask if you would like me to learn something or upskill myself in a certain area to be able to perform better in the role in the first few months. What do you think you would suggest? Things like that to showcase your interest. And the second is, casual, social, personal questions. What do you enjoy? What are you enjoying? Or what is that one thing you would like the new member to fix in the new team? Something like that. Something regarding the challenge part, because challenges are everywhere. So it's okay to say that, Yeah.
Got it.
So these two things, but better avoid silence. It's a good idea to close with a positive note, and speaking is definitely positive. Over to Abhishek.
Yeah, I was going to tell that the last interview was very serious and like non-social kind of. So the second question doesn't stand a chance. And the first one, I just asked that how is the situation at the quality situation at the team right now. So they said it would take me another 1 hour to explain you. So then that means they didn't want to answer because it was also a lot of time but anyways, we did ask the question. They didn't answer. That's another topic. So that also comes into, because I wanted to mention because this topic came. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they flip
Madhuri.
it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, in the same interview, I think I have now good points for my own retrospective. The prep point reason example is the exact thing that I feel that something didn't go well that day. I was kind of trying to explain myself, but they were actually expecting to the point answer. So
build
thanks
up
for that.
Again, that Indian mentality thing is there.
That is what we were talking about, no? Brevity and relevance. Actually, unfortunately, this is a challenge which majority of the interviewers are facing with Indian people. And they don't know why we are so elaborate. They think we are fooling. They think we are manipulating. But the reality is we are all storytellers. We tend to respect the opposite party by being overly explanatory, and which is actually, frustrating them. We like beating around the bush, and we like coming to the point only later when we know they're convinced. This approach they don't seem to understand.
Not convinced by, we feel that they are getting irritated. Let's answer.
You're like, this guy is not listening to me. He's interrupting me. He's not trying to interrupt you, but I rather think he's trying to direct you. Bhai, bahar mat jao, be here in the room. Give me the relevant details. That is what he's trying to say when he's intervening. He's setting a direction. So I would say if you cannot master this brevity, follow the cues from the interviewer. Just say he is expecting you, वैसे you go according to the instructions he's giving. बीच में you take a little pause and then you wait for a cue from him and then you build on that cue. This also works if you are not, prepared with brevity part. And mastering brevity is not easy, ladies and gentlemen. We've been Indians for so long. Mastering brevity comes with practice.
Indianize them actually. We don't.
Madhuri, can we ask about feedback as part of that question or areas to improve on?
Yeah, why not? Not like feedback, because some interviewers might reject it saying we have not agreed to give feedback or it is not the right time, etc., etc. You can probably put it in that way. We have had a long discussion until now. So please tell us what is something that you would like me to work upon before I take up the project. Is there anything you would like to recommend? Things like that. To just show how curious you are. Yeah, go ahead.
Madhuri, I have seen this work in 2 interviews, but I'm not sure if that is, because of the interviewer's generosity or if I'm right. But I faced a tricky question to which I answered at that point of time during the interview. I answered to the best of my ability. But later, when the interview said, "Do you have any other questions?" the first thing I asked was, "Look, boss, I answered you to the best of my ability, but I'm not really convinced if I've answered you correctly. Can you please explain what this question was about? What was your objective behind this question?" Is that a good thing to do, in an interview at all?
No, actually, it becomes rude depending on the choice of words. See, you want to answer it and you want to find out specifics is a good idea. But you asking a question in order to check whether, there are multiple questions they use in order to test you in multiple dimensions. And some of that you might find it offensive, or you might find it irrelevant, or you might find like they're just whiling away time. Do not show any of these emotions in the interview. In the first interview that I attended, I'll tell you what I did. I went to the interview room. It was a physical face-to-face interview back in 2010, I don't know, 10, I guess. Yeah, 10. So I went to the room and they said, you are an engineering graduate and this is a marketing job. Why did you apply? They asked me this. I gave left and right to the interviewer saying, you have read through my resume and you have called me until here. You are asking me this question now. This is the exact answer I've given. I'm not even exaggerating. In the same, pace, the same aggression. They smiled and they said, if you are selected, we'll let you know later. They just wanted to test how I'm inclined for a marketing role. They were not bothered about my qualification. But I thought you knew it. You knew I was an engineering graduate and you called me. So I was clearly testing them, right? I was clearly questioning their approach. So it depends on how you put it. You would like to answer it, seek more details is fine. But if you think you are feeling tricked, don't express your emotions. And make sure you use positive choices, positive word choices to speak, whatever that is. Because we said, no, instead of challenge, you say what the challenge is. And instead of saying, how is this relevant? You just ask it in a polite way that helps them understand you are curious to answer the question. That's it. It ends there. And word choice is very, very important. I'm saying again and again. And some word choices are offensive in certain contexts. For example, the word bullshit. One person comes to me, senior director from EPAM, and she says, I want you to give training to my certain country stakeholders. I said, what's the problem statement? They're using the word bullshit again and again in the interview, in the meetings. Go tell them it's not relevant to use that and tell them how to talk to Indian stakeholders. I'm like, you didn't go and tell them not to use bullshit. They came for a training intervention. You can very well tell them, no, let's say, Abhishek is that person who's using the word bullshit. I'll go, Abhishek, you know what? This word might be relevant in your culture, but it's a little offensive in Indian culture. So from next time, please don't use this word. Please reserve it. Khatam. Right? So I'm giving this example because some words which are acceptable in some cultures are not accepted across the cultures. And unfortunately, there is no universally accepted code. So be careful, be neutral, and be positive. I gave a long answer. I had to give it. So yes, that's about it. Thank you. Wonderful question. Any other questions? I think we are spilling over by 3 minutes. Anything else? Any other questions? Done for the day? Okay.
Yes,
at any point.
That was a great session though. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Vishwas. Thank you. This feedback means a lot. So yes, you all will be given badges of course completion, provided you have stayed in the session for 60 minutes. I forgot to say this in the beginning. Anybody who's attended the session for less than 60 minutes will not get the course completion badge. And my organizer will now close the event in another 2-3 days. She will request for feedback. Please give feedback. Tell us what you liked about the course. Tell us what you would like us to improve. And at any point, do you think you have something to discuss about your interviews? I'm just a ping away. Just drop a ping saying, hey, this is what we want and I would like a connect or I would like a message. I'll be there. So that's about it. Any other questions? Kishore. Kishore has a question. Okay, I think that's accidental. All right, then have a nice evening and have a nice rest of the week. If you are free, available, we have a lot of soft skills trainings happening. Be there. I'd love to see you again and again. Yes. Sankalp has a question.
No,
okay,
by
hands
mistake.
are
I raised it. Sorry, by mistake.
Okay, no worries. Then see you everyone. Happy interviewing.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Madhuri.
Madhuri.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.